all, and welcome back to my channel, Drunk Crafts with Paige. I am Paige, and this week, it's no surprise to anyone, but I'm still drinking some of the wedding cider. This kind is the unfiltered kind. Some of you may remember our goddess swipe. It was inspired by the artist CraftyJenn. I'll put a picture of it right here. But we basically used a profile of a woman and used some black and different metallic colors and did a swipe over top of all of it. And it kind of looks like some flowy hair, or maybe that she's kind of like swooping in. Either way, I love the way that it looks, and I thought it would be fun if we did kind of a variation of that this week. Instead of a swipe with paint, we are going to be using alcohol ink. So if you guys would like to join me for this week's project, please continue watching. I have already printed out our silhouette of our female. I got it from the Google. I made sure that she was the proper size because we are going to be using the 12 by 12 alcohol ink paper and once again mounting it on a wood panel. But first, we are going to trace this profile onto some vinyl because we're going to be using it to get a really nice crisp profile of her face, very similarly to what we did with the vinyl stencils for the pieces I did for my cats and also for a couple of bookmarks. So let's start with that. So here is our vinyl, and I have already traced out my silhouette on here. I have it, she's facing currently to the right because when we cut it out and flip it and stick it down to our paper, I want her to be facing left. So she got mirrored. And I had someone ask me in the comment section of one of the other stencil and alcohol ink videos about what vinyl this is, and I honestly have no idea. My husband bought it for me, and I'm pretty sure, because I have tried some of the vinyl and contact paper that they sell at Dollar Tree, and that stuff didn't come out as well. So I think what he ended up getting me was some high-end vinyl, kind of for like a Cricut. So hopefully that helps. But as we go and cut out our silhouette, we are actually gonna want not her face here in the middle, we want her silhouette. So we want this outer part. And when we do the alcohol ink, I want it to kind of be her hair flowing in this direction, it'll be opposite. So I may choose to cut it off to just do her silhouette here and to cut it off right here. So then her hair will kind of flow this direction. But basically, we are gonna go ahead and cut out our vinyl stencil. So here's our beautiful stencil. As I said, I only kept about half of her face because we're gonna try to kind of blow it out in this direction. So I guess it's a matter of applying it now. So I'm gonna very carefully, we'll start at the bottom. Try to figure out where I want her to go. As I peel off, I'm going to be very gentle. She's got some delicate pieces like her eyelashes and some strands of hair. So I'm going to be especially mindful about these edges because obviously we're going to be putting alcohol ink down and we don't want it to leak through. We want this very strong profile. Now comes the fun alcohol ink part. And for anyone who is new to the alcohol ink game, I've got my nice set of alcohol inks, various colors from Resin. I also have some metallics from Holtz. We might use one of them. I don't know. I think they look really cool. We also have our isopropyl alcohol. Make sure it is at least 90% or higher. I also like to use these just plastic little pipettes to kind of disperse the alcohol ink everywhere, as well as our good old heat gun. I like to use that to kind of move the ink around, and it helps it dry faster. I decided to go with some different shades of like reddish purple. Purple to me kind of screams royalty, goddess, and so we've got some shades of purple. I've got a dark magenta as well as a purplish red, and we might actually use just the standard red as well, throw that in, and maybe even I've got the black out just in case, because you guys know how I like the appearance of the red with the smoky black, a la this piece we did. I think we could do some of the darker, like the dark purple. Maybe we can concentrate it right around her profile, make it nice and deep, and then we can fade it out and add some of the other colors in that direction. Because just like the other goddess pour, the swipe we did, we swiped it in this direction, so it looked like her hair kind of flowed out. And I would like to do the same thing, or something similar, with this one. So I'm gonna start with this purple, give it a nice good shake. Always shake up your alcohol inks before you begin. So let's start like in the center. And add our alcohol. There we go. Ooh, I forget how much I love this purple. It comes out so like, it kind of looks magenta when you pour it, and then it deepens to such a gorgeous color. I think I'm also gonna throw in some of this dark magenta, one of the other dark colors, and start blending that around the silhouette as well. Also shaking it up. I'm gonna add maybe some of this purplish red in a couple of spaces, and I think we're gonna go ahead and start kind of blending it out this way. I'd like it to fade just a little bit as it gets closer to the edge, to not be so dark and concentrated. So shaking up my purplish red, and we'll add some of that. As a final touch, I really enjoy emptying out my pipette, getting as much of the alcohol out as I can, and then I just kind of spray it about. Just kind of gives it like a crazy speckled space look, I think. So I think this is our finished piece for now. I'll say it once more that it's very difficult to actually see how this piece is going to turn out with all of this craziness going on top of the stencil. But we will wait for it to dry, and then I will, when it's at least more dry than it is right now, I'll go ahead and peel the stencil off. Once it is fully 100% dry, then we will add some of the Kamar varnish from Krylon over top to make sure that it is nice and sealed and coated before we get to putting it on our wood panel and adding the resin. It's been about a day, so some of our alcohol ink is not completely dry yet, but it is all dry enough that we are going to go ahead and peel off the vinyl and reveal our silhouette and hope that this whole piece ends up looking kind of how I wanted it to. And I believe I mentioned it before, but the beauty of the alcohol ink is that if you've got any mistakes or anything you want to get rid of, that's what the alcohol is for. We can just use a Q-tip and some alcohol and clean up anything we need to. But I'm hoping that this silhouette turned out real nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to peeling. There she is. That is cool. I guess a couple things as far as removing the vinyl. Slow and steady is key. There were actually a couple of spots where I lost control and pulled a little faster than I meant to. And I don't know if they'll show up on camera, but they left kind of like, not exactly a sticky film, but a little bit of a film. I'm hoping that I can get rid of it with some alcohol. And it's also important to just kind of pull with your silhouette. I have a few very delicate spots like the eyelashes, some of the hair, and with the lips, that if you kind of bend the vinyl with your figure, I find that it ends up coming out nice and clean, and it's less likely to have the vinyl break and then you have to pick at it. There are a couple of spots with some alcohol ink that kind of came through, some smudgies, and I also want to attempt to see what I can do with those spots where the vinyl pulled off. So we're gonna go at this with some alcohol and some Q-tips. Here is our goddess now. I gave her several coats of the Kamar varnish, so our alcohol ink is nice and protected, and I did go ahead and already glue her on to this wood board. I like to use a combination of wood glue and Mod Podge, and then I weight it down with some really heavy weights so the paper stays nice and flat and flush to the wood. And I trim off any of the extra paper that hangs off the wood board, trim it off once the glue is dry. And now we are here, and it is time to give this beauty a nice coat of resin. And I thought it would be fun, since we've got some silver metallic portions in this piece, that we're gonna also throw in some fine silver glitter. Actually, it's extra fine. Extra fine. So we're gonna throw some of that in our resin, and we're gonna give it a nice top coat. I feel like I look so tired when I don't have my glasses on. Okay, you guys, our resin is fully cured. I went ahead and removed the tape off the edges of this piece, and in case I haven't said it before, I like to hit that with the heat gun, just where the tape and the resin meet. It heats up the resin, makes it a little bit more pliable, and makes the tape removal process way easier. So now it is time to talk about this piece. And I've said it before, the reasons why I love doing female themed projects. To me, they are so empowering, and this piece just turned out so gorgeous. I would love to do different sizes, different colors, a whole variation of profile goddess kind of portraits that look like this. So here she is. Look at how gorgeous. And you can see the resin, and all the glitter. Oh my god, you guys. Full disclosure, I do still struggle with cutting the edges off. If I have any extra that hangs over my canvas, I trim it off with an X-Acto blade. And for some reason, I have such a hard time trimming it off into a beautiful straight line. But I want to continue making projects like this, so I will just have to continue practicing. Here are some gorgeous shots of this piece out in the natural light. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and you'll have to let me know in the comments if you guys prefer the outcome of our painted swipe goddess pour or this alcohol ink kind of version of it. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. All of my links for my social media are in the description box below. We've got Facebook, Instagram, and PayPal. I'll see you guys all for the next video. Cheers!